There's rarely a fixture where the managers of both clubs are reportedly on the brink of the sack, but that might be true of West Ham against Wolves on Monday night. Both sides lost in midweek, but for their bosses, it's business as usual.
I was not thinking this. I was thinking that we have one very important challenge in Monday against a good team that deserves much more points than they have until now. I have seen their matches. It's a good team, very good players, and good coach. So we have to be focused to have one good answer and to develop our work until Monday, to be ready to face them and to be ready to offer to give our fans one good day.
I always think of it from the football club's point of view because it's all that matters. So Monday's game will obviously feel huge, as last night's did, as Bournemouth did, as Fulham did, as Southampton did. You're going to ask us the same. Night's did, as Bournemouth did, as Fulham did, as Southampton did. You're going to ask us the same for every single game.
I know they're both under pressure, but only one really looks it. He looks like he's not sleeping. He looks tired and stressed out, and it's not Gary O'Neill.
Well, it's a trading places derby because O'Neill took Lopetegui's job at Wolves after Lopetegui said that Wolves couldn't be kept in the Premier League given that they'd sold Kilman and they'd sold Neto. And, given that they'd sold, I think they'd sold a couple of players beforehand, and O'Neill came along and kept them in. But they're under pressure now because last summer they sold two key players again, Kilman and Neto. So I went a little bit too soon there.
Yeah.
But
we understand. We've got you.
The reason that they're under so many problems is because Wolves achieved their objectives and then they sell another two players. And it almost undermines what the manager is trying to do. And I think as far as O'Neill is concerned, I think he has them competitive. I still think that he has the capacity to eke out wins and battle against the odds. I look at West Ham, I don't see that. I don't know what the plan is. I don't see where the confidence is. They've got so many good players who can score goals, who don't, and they are being beaten by sides who are so much inferior to them, given that they spent over £100 million in the summer. They were the sixth highest net spenders in Europe in the summer. They should not be where they are, and they've gone backwards given that they won a European trophy under his predecessor, David Moyes.
And I think, obviously, last year, a lot of the fans, they finished ninth, and I always say you have to be careful what you wish for, because I think the West Ham fans, and rightfully so, they want to play better football, but I think fundamentally they'd take David Moyes back in a heartbeat with the way that Lopetegui's managing this team. I think, West Ham right now, they don't look like a team that has that cohesion, that togetherness. I know David Moyes at times did play the type of football when they were like, why is he playing Scamacca? I know Scamacca's moved on now, but why is Scamacca and Antonio not playing together? They weren't playing pretty type of football. They were playing one up top, chasing it down. But I think it was interesting because when Gary O'Neill did his interview, post-game interview, it was almost like, I don't know if you saw that, Darren, but it looked like he'd almost given in. It was like he'd kind of said, he was almost talking in third person. And then it's interesting today when he's done his press conference today, he's almost, actually, I'm still the manager. Because I think ultimately it was always the managers people look towards, because I like Gary O'Neill a lot. I think if you saw him when he breaks down the game, his analysis of the game, tactically, I think he's very tactically astute. And I think ultimately, if he was to lose his job at Wolves, then he lost it at Bournemouth, it just doesn't look good, does it? And obviously Lopetegui, I don't think many of the West Ham fans wanted him in the first place. I don't think he was their number one choice anyway.
No, I don't think he was.
So what are we saying? Are we saying that Gary O'Neill is in less danger than Lopetegui?
I don't think he feels that way, but I personally feel like Lopetegui will go before Gary O'Neill, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you look at West Ham, they've conceded their most goals in a calendar year for nearly 50 years. They cannot stop conceding. Nobody knows what the plan is against the really superior teams. It is so easy to get through them, through the middle, through the centre of their defence. I see more fight in Wolves. I see more willingness to run for the manager. I think the manager's a better communicator than Lopetegui in terms of establishing his authority and his belief. Whereas I cannot see where West Ham are going at the moment. And it's a sad thing to say because we're not about wanting managers to lose their jobs on this show. We're just trying to do our jobs and analyse what we see. But looking at this match right now, of the two teams, there is only one with the desire and the heart and the fight to get out of the situation they're in. And for me, that's Wolves.